Hello students, I am Mrs. Reema Shah Vora from Deccan Education Society, Brihan Maharashtra College of Commerce, Pune. Today we are going to cover the topic of time series, which is the fourth chapter from Maths paper 2. Students, the time series is widely used by statisticians and in business analysts, and it has many practical applications. For example, you go to a supermarket daily. So whenever you go to a supermarket, the stock is always there. So they manage the stock by going through the past analysis of the production, how much stock is used, or based on the seasonal variation of it, and they decide what to stock and how much to stock up. Supposing there is an investor who invests in shares, so the investor always sees the market value of the shares and then decides whether he wants to sell it or keep it, and so on. So let us see the more points about time series by the PowerPoint presentation. Time series is a sequence of observations made on a variable at regular time intervals over a specified period of time. The set of data collected on the basis of time, it consists of data in chronological order. So time series, when we are collecting on some basis, say for example on some production or whatever we want to produce, so that becomes the variable and it is collected in a chronological order like day wise, month wise, year wise, and so on. For example, monthly, quarterly, yearly production of an industrial product, yearly GDP of a company, weekly prices of vegetables. All these are examples of time series. Next is application of time series. It helps us to study the past behavior and to forecast the future. So in short, the main objective of time series analysis is to understand, interpret, and assess the chronological changes in values of a variable in the past so that reliable predictions are made in the future. The government may be interested in growth in future for the planning different policies. So if the government is planning some policies or schemes for the welfare of the people, it has to see the population control, like how much the population is going to increase. It will increase, but by how much, and so on. We might not get a proper estimate, but we can always get a rough estimate about it. So if we study the past behavior, we can analyze the future. The manufacturing company may be interested in knowing the demand of the product so that those many units can be manufactured. For example, you can consider the selling of iPhone. When the iPhone, every year they are checking how much sale is there. So sometimes it might be more, sometimes it might be less, or sometimes it might be just the same. So based on that, they are going to decide how much iPhones they should produce. There are 4 components of time series. So they are in chronological order, and first is secular trend, second is seasonal variation, third is cyclical variation, and fourth is irregular variation. Now we are going to study the components in details. First is secular trend. So denoted by T, secular trend means, a trend means what? It is any pattern. Correct? So secular trend of a time series is its smooth and regular long-term movement. It generally has a tendency of increasing or decreasing or remaining stagnant. For example, sale of automobiles increases as the population increases. Correct? The death rate decreases. Now, as and when the medical technology is increasing, the death rate of people is decreasing. So this comes under secular trend. Next is the seasonal variation. Now seasonal means, as the name suggests, that it is going to be considered by the seasons. Seasonal variation involves pattern of changes within a year that are repeated from year to year. Seasonal variations often reflect changes in underlying climatic conditions or customs and habits of people. So based on various traditions or habits, the seasonal variations can occur. For example, fans, coolers, cold drinks, and ice creams are in great demand during summers. Otherwise, we don't use them that much, but in summers, we widely use it. Umbrellas and raincoats are in great demand during rainy season. During the festival time, sale of sweets and gifts increases. So for that matter, even during the holiday season, the tours and travel business is too much during the holidays. So that is a seasonal variation. However, the period of seasonal variation can be a month, a week, a day, or even an hour, depending on the nature of data available. Next component is the cyclical variation. Cyclical means what? It goes around like a cycle. Okay. So cyclical variation is a long-term oscillatory movement that occurs over a long period of time, mostly more than 2 years or more. A standard business cycle consists of the following 4 phases: prosperity, recession, depression, and recovery. So you can see the graph on the screen, students. There is a prosperity in any business. If we start, maybe there is prosperity in the beginning, and then we have a recession, that is a downfall. Then again we try to recover, and then prosperity, and this cycle keeps on going if you consider any small or big business. The last component is irregular variation. It is denoted by I. So irregular variations are caused by either random factors or unforeseen events like floods, famines, earthquakes, strikes, wars, etc. So irregular means it can be any random. You don't know what is coming next. For example, you can go through the recent example of temperature gun, which are widely used in the market right now. So everyone is purchasing it. So in the beginning, the price of it was not that much, but now the price of it has increased due to COVID. And second is prices of petrol increases when there are wars. So whenever something unnatural occurs, that comes under irregular variation. So these were the 4 components. Now we are going to see the measurement of secular trend. So secular trend can be measured by using the following methods. There are many other tools to measure the secular trend, but in our syllabus there are 3 major tools which we are going to see. First is the graphical method, second is the method of moving averages, and third is the method of least squares. Let us see all these in details now. Graphical method, that is the method of freehand curve. In this method, a graph is drawn for the given time series by plotting xt on y-axis against t on x-axis. So t is the year, suppose, and then a freehand smooth curve is plotted on the same graph to indicate the general trend or secular trend. You can see the graph on the right hand side. Same way we can just plot the year on x-axis and all the production or whatever is there on the y-axis, and then just put these dots, join them, and we draw a trend line so that we know whether the trend line is increasing or it is decreasing or whatever it is. Next is method of moving averages. Now averages we all have heard many times. Supposing I tell you that you have to calculate the average of 5 marks that you all have obtained. So you all will just simply add up all the marks of 5 subjects and then divide by 5. This is a simple average. But now we are going to see the moving average. So moving average means what? If there is a company and the company wants to find the average of 10 years. So 10-year average is not approximate. Why should we wait for 10 years? So if we go for the moving averages, we can have a better result. Okay, and then there are 2 different methods, like we are going to see over here: 3-yearly, 4-yearly, and 5-yearly moving averages. Now 3-yearly moving average, for example, supposing we are doing for 3 years. So first, second, and third year average will be counted. Then moving means we will leave the first year, we will take second, third, and fourth. Then we will leave the first 2, then we will take third, fourth, and fifth, and so on till how many ever years you want to calculate for. So in this way, even the 5-yearly moving average will be done. Instead of 3, we're going to consider 5 years together. Okay. Now 3 and 5 years, the calculation almost is same, but 4-yearly will be different because it is an even number. So while doing the examples, you all will understand better how to do them. Next is method of least squares. This is the most objective and perhaps the best method of determining a trend, students, because the first 2 methods are not very forecasting, but this method is a robust, it is a foolproof method. So in this method, what we will take the equation as yt equal to a plus bt. We have an equation y equal to mx plus c and all those, like it's a linear equation. So we are just taking a linear equation where one is a dependent variable and one is an independent variable. Okay. So by solving the methods by 2 normal equations, we are going to take summation yt equal to na plus b summation t yt equal to a summation t plus b summation t square. However, here when these 2 normal equations are considered, they are very difficult to calculate, because yt is nothing but the years and n is the number of periods for which the data is available. And when you're calculating years, you're finding the square, here you're finding t square and all that, it becomes very difficult. So what we do is we use the change of origin and scale method. So we convert t to u, and all these equations from t, it will be converted to u, and a and b will be converted to a dash b dash. So see over here, we can do it in this way. After changing the equations, we get summation yu equal to na dash plus b dash summation u yu equal to a dash summation u plus b dash summation u square. So these are the normal equations obtained after change of origin, and where u is t minus middle value upon h. This u will be used only if n is odd. But what if n is even? Then u is calculated as t minus mean of two middle values upon h by 2. So when we are doing the examples, you all will understand better. And h is the distance between two consecutive t values. That is the difference between the consecutive years. Okay. And the equation of linear trend is given by yu equal to a dash plus b dash u. This equation is very, very important, students. And in this, after using this trend line equation, we are going to obtain the trend values. Let us go through some examples now. The following data gives the production of bleaching powder in million tons for the years 1962 to 1972. So the table is given to you, 1962 to 1972, various production values in million tons, 0, 0, 1, 4, 2 and so on up to 8. So fit a trend line by graphical method to the above data. So as discussed earlier, we are going to plot the years on x-axis. So just take a unit, 1 centimeter equal to 1 unit on x-axis, or you can take 2 centimeter equal to 2 unit, depending on how much space you have. Okay, and production are plotted on y-axis. So you can see here the minimum is 0 and the maximum is 10. So you can take the scale as 0, 2, 4, 6 up to 12, or you can just simply take 0, 1, 2, 3, whatever is convenient. Okay, and then just one extra is good enough so that the graph looks neater. Now we are going to plot the points. So first point is 1962 is 0. So we plot 0 over here. Then 1963 is again 0. So both zeros. Then 1964 is 1. So it will come somewhere here. Okay. 1964 is again 1. 1965 is 1966 is 4. 1967 is 2. 1968 is 4. 1969 is 9. So 1970 is 7. 1971 is 10. 1972 is 8. So students see that there is a big difference in 68 and 69. It has like increased. Then again it goes in decrease, again it increases, and again it is decreasing. So the trend line, we have to draw it in this way. Now where to draw the trend line? You can either draw it like you can count the number of points and draw in the middle like 5 points. If there are 10 points, 5 points are above the line and 5 points are below the line. But that is not practically possible every time. So what you can do is just plot a line somewhere in between, but make sure that all the points are not above it or all the points are not below it. It has to be in center somewhere. And this is the graph that is obtained, and it is a trend line. Let us go for the next example. The following table gives the production of steel in millions of tons for years 1976 to 1986. This is the table given to you. Now we want to fit a trend line by graphical method to the above data. So same thing we are going to do, put the x-axis, put the years on x-axis and the production on y-axis. So we have taken the suitable scale, as you can see. Now 1976 is 0. So plot the first point as 0. 1977 is 4. Then 1978 is 4 again. So it remains stagnant. That means 1979 is 2. So it is decreasing. 1980 is 6. 1981 is 8. 1982 is 5. 1983 is 9. 1984 is 4, 1985 is 10, 1986 is 10. So students, you will plot the points and then make sure that you all are just joining the points next to it. Don't join any point anywhere. Otherwise, you will not get the correct graph. Now, after plotting all the points, the next step is to plot the trend line. So as you can see, the black line is the trend line you can obtain in this way. Next example. Obtain the trend values for the given data using 3 yearly moving averages. So students, this is the given data from 1976 to 1986. Various production values are given for these 10 years. Now we want to obtain the data for 3 yearly moving average. So let us see the table. For 3 yearly, you are going to make this table. Years, that is T, production YT. So the vertical columns should be made properly, and these 2 columns are already given. So just write it from the question. Now 3 yearly moving average. So we are going to consider the first 3. 0 plus 4 plus 4. It is 8. Okay. Now first, second, third. So which is the middle one? The second value is the middle one. So you will start writing from here. So the first value will remain blank. Okay. Then you will go for second, third, fourth. That is 4 plus 4 plus 2 is 10. Then 4, 2, 6, 12. 2, 6, 8 is 16. 6, 8, 5, 9. 8, 5, 9 is 22. 5, 9, 4 is 18. 9, 4, 10 is 23. And 4, 10, 10 is 24. So all the three early moving averages are obtained. So last will again remain blank. So just remember that you have to write in the middle. So you can just write over here and then make sure that when you're writing over here, so the one number above it and the one number below it are added. Okay. There is no compulsion to show these addition. You can write it or you can skip it. You can directly write these numbers. Okay. And then these were the totals. So we want the average. So we are going to divide each and every number by 3. So we get 8 divided by 3 is 2.667. 10 by 3 is 3.333. 12 by 3 is 4. 16 by 3 is 5.33. 19 by 3 is 6.33. 22 by 3 is 7.33. 18 by 3 is 6. 23 by 3 is 7.66. 24 by 3 is 8. So whenever you are calculating this, make sure that at least 2 to 3 decimals you are writing. And this is the proper table and you will get your marks. Next question is, obtain the trend values for the below given data using 5 yearly moving averages. 1962-63 up to 1972 is given and the production values are given. So like what we did in the 3 yearly moving average, same thing we are going to do for 5 yearly. So the table will be like years, production, YT. Okay, so make the vertical columns. Next is 5 yearly moving total and 5 yearly moving average. So students, like we did in 3, now here we are going to consider 5 numbers at a time. So 0 plus 0 plus 1 plus 1 plus 4. So you get answer as 6. Now again where to write? 5 numbers are there. So which is the middle number? 3 is the middle number. 2 numbers are above it and 2 numbers are below it. So you'll start writing from the third row itself. Okay. And then keep on adding. Now for the next you're going to leave this 0. Take 0 plus 1 plus 1 plus 4 plus 2. Okay. Then leave both the zeros. 1 plus 1 plus 4 plus 2 plus 4 is 12. And then you will get 1 plus 4 plus 2 plus 4 plus 9 is 20. Then 4 plus 2 plus 4 plus 9 plus 7 is 26. Then 2 plus 4 plus 9 plus 7 plus 10 is 32. And lastly, 4 plus 9 plus 7 plus 10 plus 8 is 38. Again, you can just simply write the addition. But if you write that, you can also verify if you go wrong anyway. And make sure that when you're writing here, so 2 numbers above it and 2 numbers below it are added. Okay. Now for averages, again we will divide by 5. So 6 divided by 5 is 1.2. 8 divided by 5 is 1.6. 12 by 5 is 2.4. 20 by 5 is 4. 26 upon 5 is 5.2. 32 by 5 is 6.4. And 38 by 5 is 7.6. In this way, we obtain the 5 yearly moving average. Now we go for the next question, which is 4 yearly moving average. Look at the year given to you, 1976 to 1985, and the index are given. So this is T and YT is given. Now let us go for 4 yearly. So index, years, same columns. Now make sure over here when you are doing 4 yearly, you will leave one line in between each and every year. Okay. Now 4 yearly means it is an even number. There is no middle number, like 2 numbers are there and then below 2 numbers. So what you are going to do, that's why leave a line in between. Okay. After 2 numbers, you are going to start writing in the middle. Okay. So 0 plus 2 plus 3 plus 3 is 8. Okay. But write over here, not here or not here. Fine. Now we will leave 0, add 2, 3, 3, 2. We get 10. Then add 3, 3, 2 and 4, 12. Then add 3, 2, 4, 5. So 14. 2, 4, 5, 6, 17. 4, 5, 6, 7 is 22. And 5, 6, 7, 10 is 28. So make sure that you are writing in between like this. There is no year over here. Now this was 4 yearly moving total. So for 4 yearly moving average, what we get? Divide by 4. 8 by 4 is 2. 10 by 4 is 2.5. 12 by 4 is 3. 14 by 4 is 3.5. 17 by 4 is 4.25. 22 by 4 is 5.5. And 28 by 4 is 7. So now 4 yearly, for 3 yearly and 5 yearly, the table was ending here. But for 4 yearly, it doesn't end here. Why? Because we have obtained this, but this doesn't signify any year. There is no year over here. Okay. Now, what is this? 1975 and 1978. Between there is no 1977.5 year. Like that year is not there. So now we need to obtain 2 unit moving total. We are going to just add two numbers at a time. 2 plus 2.5 is 4.5. 2.5 plus 3 is 5.5. 3 plus 3.5 is 6.5. 3.5 plus 4.25 is 7.5. 4.25 plus 5.5 is 9.75. And 5.5 plus 7 is 12.5. So we have obtained the total. Again for average, divide by 2. So we get 2.25, 2.75, 3.25, 3.875, 4.875 and 6.25 respectively. So now see here, these are corresponding to some years. This is for 1978, 1979 and so on. The last one is for 1983. In this way, we obtain the 4 yearly centered moving average. Now students, we go for the last method, which is method of least squares to obtain the trend line. 1962, 1963 up to 1972. These are the years given and these are the production values. Now see here, as n is equal to 11, the 11 years are given to you, which is an odd number. So middle of T is 1967, okay, and H is 1. Between each and every year, the difference is 1. That's why H is 1, okay. And 1967, there are 5 years after it and 5 years before it. So we get 1967 as the middle year. U we want to calculate. Now as discussed earlier, we are going to convert T to U by shifting of origin and scale method, because T will be very difficult. If I tell you to calculate 1966 square, it is going to be very tedious. So we are going to obtain U. U is T minus 1967 upon 1. Therefore U is T minus 1967. Okay. Now we prepare the table as follows. Years, production, these were the 2 columns already given to you students. Now we obtain U. So U is what? T minus 1967. So 1962 minus 1967 is minus 5. Then minus 4, minus 3, minus 2, minus 1, 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So total is 0. Your production YT total is 46. Okay. And now we are going to do U square. So minus 5 square is 25. Minus 4 square is 16. Minus 3 square is 9. Minus 2 square is 4. Minus 1 square is 1. 0 square is 0. 1 is 1, 2 square is 4, 3 square is 9, 4 square is 16, 5 square is 25. Take the total of this, which is 110. Now U into Y, that is second column into third column. 0 into minus 5 is 0, 0 into minus 4 is 0, 1 into minus 3 is minus 3, 1 into minus 2 is minus 2, 4 into minus 1 is minus 4. We get 0 over here, 4 over here, 9 2s are 18, 7 3s are 21, 10 4s are 40, 8 5s are 40, and lastly, we are going to just add add these numbers, so we get 114. Okay, this way we have obtained this table. Now we go for the next, that is the normal equations we are going to consider, and that's why these totals are very, very important. Now the normal equations are summation yu equal to na dash plus b dash summation u, and summation yu equal to a dash summation u plus b dash summation u square. So from the table above, we have got 46 equal to 11a dash plus b dash into 0, because summation u was 0. Okay. And 114 is equal to a dash into 0 plus b dash into 110. Okay. So from equation 1, we are getting that a dash is equal to 46 upon 11 because b dash is 0. And from equation 2, we are getting b dash equal to 114 upon 110. As over here, a dash is 0. Okay. So we get a dash is 4.1818 and b dash is 1.0364. Now equation of trend line is yu equal to a dash plus b dash u. So yu equal to 4.1818 plus 1.0364 into u. Now what was u? T minus 1967. So we substitute this and we get yt as 4.1818 plus 1.0364 into t minus 1967. Now specially for year 1965, the yt was asked. Okay. So we are just going to substitute 1975 in place of t. We get the answer as 12.473 after calculations. Okay. And then lastly, we need to make the table for all the other years. 1975 was exclusively asked, so we have calculated this over here. But for the given years, we need to calculate. So again, T and YT we have written. Now substituting 1962, 1963 one by one in this equation, the trend line equation that we have obtained, we are going to obtain all these values. So trend value for 1962 is minus 1.0002. For 1963 is 0.0362. 1964 is 1.07626. 65 is 2.1090. 66 is 3.1454. 67 is 4.1818. 68 is 5.2182, and so on. 1972 is 9.3638. Now see over here, students, that there is not much of a difference between production values and the trend values. For example, here it is 1, so it is 1 point something. It is 4 over here, so it is 3 point something. Here it is 10, so it is 8 point. The meaning is that if it is 9 or 10 over here, it won't happen that here it is in 90s or 100s. Okay, it will be near about it. Next example. Fit a trend line to the data given below by the method of least squares. Also obtain the trend value for the index of industrial production for the year 1987. This is the data given to you. Now you can see over here that n is 10, which is an even number. So if n is even, there will be two middle values. Here it is 1980 and 1981. So what is the formula of u? T minus mean of middle values. Here h is also 1 because the difference between each and every year is 1. Okay. Now mean of middle values is 1980.5. So t minus 1980.5 upon 1 by 2. Therefore u is 2 into t minus 1980.5. So we prepare the following table. Okay. Here's yt, u is this, then u square. Okay. And then u into y. So second column into third column. We are taking the addition of all the columns. So summation yt is 42, summation u is 0, summation u square is 330, and summation yu is 148. All these are required. So make sure that you put in all these columns, and if you remember the equations well, you will automatically know which columns to make. So the normal equations are summation yu equal to na dash plus b dash summation u, and summation u equal to a dash summation u plus b dash summation u square. Substituting, we get a dash equal to 4.2 and b dash equal to 0.4485 after solving it. Okay, and trend line equation is yu equal to a dash plus b dash u. Therefore we get 4.2 into 0.4485 into u. Now substitute the value of u again. So the trend line proper equation is 4.2 plus 0.4485 into 2 into t minus 1980.5. So this can be easily used for calculating for year 1987. Just substitute 1987 in place of t, we get 10.0305. Okay. Now again we obtain the trend values in the following way. So in the trend line equation, just substitute t for various values. For 1976, for example, we are getting 0.1635. For 1980, we are getting 3.7515. 1985, we are getting 8.2365, and so on. So in this way, you can just obtain all the trend values. Again, note that there is not much of a difference between the production values and the trend values. Okay. So in this way, both if it is n is even or n is odd, both can be solved and both the least squares can be obtained. The following table shows the production of gasoline in USA for the years 1962 to 1976. Obtain the trend line for the above data using 5 yearly moving averages. Plot the original time series and trend values obtained above on the same graph. So for 5 yearly we are going to obtain, and then these graphs we want to plot, and also for 5 yearly. So as you know, the 5 yearly moving total, calculate first 5, then next 5, keep on rotating. Okay, so first 2 and last 2 will remain blank. After getting the totals, we will get the averages by dividing by 5. Okay, so in the table is ready. Now using both the tables, we want to plot the graph on the same paper. Okay, so in this way you can see the original data curve is in blue line and the trend line is in yellow color, which you can see on the screen. So both the trend lines are obtained, and in this way we can compare it and study the data. So students, today we have seen time series topic. I hope you all have understood everything in detail. You can go through the solved examples once again, and all the exercise problems you all have already seen. So make sure that you write it and solve it on your own, and then go for the miscellaneous exercise. Thank you, students.